Good morning, everyone. A warm welcome to all of you on the special occasion of International Women's Day. So this day is to celebrate remarkable achievements of women across the globe. So today, on behalf of Bellatrix Aerospace, I am honored to have with us a true inspiration, Mrs. Anuradha T.K, the first woman satellite project director at ISRO. Over 4 decades of service at ISRO, she has led groundbreaking satellite communication missions, like the launches of GSAT series of satellites from GSAT 9 till GSAT 18, bringing satellite technology to millions of our lives. Her journey is a testament to courage, innovation, and breaking barriers and stereotypes. More on that in few minutes. So let's dive into her incredible story from her childhood dreams to her stellar career. Please join me in giving a warm round of applause for Mrs. Anuradha T.K. Before we delve into your experience at ISRO, since it's International Women's Day, who is the woman you admire the most, and what about her inspires you?
For me, the most impressive person has been my mother. Really, I'm sure it's so for most of you.
Yes.
And she has been the inspiration for me. A lady who did not take her 10th standard exam because she got married at the age of 15, and we were 4 girls at home. She brought us up with so much, values and the courage in us that what we have to do in the future. I admire her the most.
Ma'am, let's now travel back in time where it all began. How was your early life in Bangalore? And was space remotely a part of your dreams?
Sometime in 1969, when there was first launch of astronaut onto the moon, when Neil Armstrong went, I could not read English or anything. And it was a news which was discussed in school. And my father was, he was part of the college. He was, at that time, he was reader in Sanskrit in Shimoga. He used to bring the science magazines from the college. Though he didn't understand science, he's a Sanskrit man, he would read out for us, and nor we understood. But altogether, it was an atmosphere of curiosity. And to think that somebody can land on moon, it was something awesome. That was my first introduction to space. I mean, it's not that I thought that I'm going to join ISRO. There was no ISRO at that time, I think. It just opened up minds to possibilities, right? Okay. So I think my joining to ISRO was a decision when I was in engineering, in fact. Not till then, but I was always interested in science, technology. Maths and science were my favorite subjects that way. And we had industrial visits in engineering. And ISRO was one of the places where we visited. And I don't know, it was something like love at first sight for me being there. I mean, at that point of time, people were like the youngsters here. Everybody was young, full of energy. The way they took interest in explaining, it was not like that in the public sectors where we visited. I decided this is where I'm going to join.
Personal curiosity, what we keep talking is people who joined ISRO in the late 70s and early 80s are the real pillars of ISRO. When you had no access, now all the literature is available just if you sit and browse. So we know what is happening globally, and we know what mistakes not to repeat. So when everything had to be done on scratch, and that time when technology was denied to the country, how was the challenge?
Yeah, it was actually, to tell you frankly, that was the most exciting phase. And if you had to refer to something, there were only 2 ways. Either go to library and read whatever articles were there in some books, or seniors who had put their hands on it and done something, learn from them. Those were the 2 ways we could do that. And yes, it was challenging. And if I think back, I joined as spacecraft test engineer. Okay, I was not part of the subsystem development. And in ISRO, it was always end-to-end. I'm sure as a small organization, you will be doing the same thing. It's not that it's cut into many pieces. One does this, one does. No, we had to do end-to-end everything. To test the satellite, you have to understand the subsystem, and you have to develop your own test system. You have to develop your own interfaces and how to do it faultless. Okay, so when we were doing that, we even developed our own bus using the simple I/O chips. We made our own bus, and we developed our own protocols on that. It was so exciting, and if it was not there, we would have done manually. We wanted to bring in automation to make it more error-free. And one day when I was going by bus, we had a big problem. On that parallel bus, we had to put some 16 equipments and control how to control the interrupt. And one day, the process came to my mind, how we can tackle it. I cannot tell you that excitement, even today I can't forget. I mean, those things are taken for granted today because there are easily available systems, chips, everything. I really like it. I don't know whether we were pillars. There were already pillars starting from, Vikram Sarabhai and great people. When we joined, they were all there as mentors for us. And we learned from them a lot, and we failed a lot. We built ourselves. And especially because I was making the ground systems, components were so expensive. To do some experiments, we were not allowed to easily draw the components because we may burn it, we may spoil it. And we shared the lab with everybody, even to, then we had processor-based systems, and all the codes were by heart to us. Machine codes. Those memories are beautiful, but youngsters may think probably dinosaurs lived at that time, right? So, yeah, it was a great time. We learned a lot. And we had an opportunity to learn holistically, because we are not doing piecemeal. We used to do end-to-end. Unless you got the grasp of what is the other thing, you could not do that. Okay. That was the advantage we had. I would say it was an advantage rather than an obstacle or anything.
Stepping into ISRO in the early 80s was a new experience. How was it back then compared to today?
ISRO is much different. It has grown so much, and now ISRO cannot grow alone. ISRO has to grow with everybody, and we were also instrumental in bringing such policies because those users whom we introduce what is satellite and how they can use it, and made them use it, and brought our own pilot projects and made them do that. They have grown as hard customers today, right? And the numbers have increased so much. ISRO alone cannot cater. So naturally, the policies are different, and the way we work is different. And now, as you all know, there's a big transition. Then what we always dreamt of doing, that we had to concentrate more time on research, but we were not getting. And all the time, especially the generation where we joined, satellite after satellite after satellite, we had to make it happen, make it happen. It was going on like that. And now, I suppose people have lost the habit of doing research. Now they have to start inventing that and start doing that because they got used to that. How to produce more and more and more. I mean, that was one phase, the phase we went through, right? Now on the phase of what we really dreamt for, that how we can do new things happen, and also how to nurture I hope it is happening, and it's a transition time. It should happen. It shouldn't take too much time. Then we miss out on an opportunity. I think the first and foremost is our quality of education in India we have to improve. Comfort of living. What is comfort? We have to make them feel that. Right.
So let's hope now that times are changing, a lot of opportunities available in the country. We do our best to retain talent here.
Opportunities are definitely were there and are there today too. And if only the openness comes and meritocracy stands,
that's
then
a good
things
word.
Will change.
So do you see any major differences and opportunities or challenges, let me say, for women in science then versus now?
I don't think there was any challenge any time for women to do science and technology. It's a myth, really. Okay, and 50% of the population are women, nearly. Okay, And how can they not do science and 50% can do science? No, it's a myth. We have enough examples. I don't even like quoting examples, because the moment you quote an example, it means that, look, something which should not have been there, it is there. We are feeling with technology more so because today technology is so essential. You need a merit pool, and you are not getting a good merit pool around if half the people are not there in that, right?
True.
So you have to have a bigger pool to pick the merit. Then only, the outcomes also will be better. So we have to give that strength to women, right? So that atmosphere, if you can give at workplace, like in ISRO we had, really empathetic, whether seniors or juniors or your own peers, they were also empathetic, and that's how I have made lifetime friends with me, who could, tell everything and look from their aspect of angle that everything is fine, not to worry. That's
True.
required.
True.
Okay, when that happens, you can continue with that.
True.
I wanted a profession, not just a job. Right. I really had no dearth of, I didn't need the salary that I had to run my family. No, I wanted a profession where I can find my own identity. If that is not happening, no point, right?
We all know that you led the GSAT-12 launch in 2011, a satellite that brought tele-education and telemedicine to rural India, and GSAT-10 launch in 2012, boosting communication and navigation across the country. These missions just didn't put satellites in orbit, they connected lives basically. So how was your experience?
See, when I made GSAT-12 or 10, it's not I. We always had a good team. See, when I say I led the team, it's a post, right? Because the team members are all giants in their own domain. Okay, and they are the experts. I can't do their job, or I can't tell them how to do their job. They are the experts. So each one of them being an expert, they are like, beautiful pearls. You have to put them together to make a necklace, right? That's the job of a leader in this kind of highly technical field.
So how did you motivate your team?
How did I motivate? Because, one thing is, ISRO, we had motivated set of people. I didn't have to extra motivate them at all. Given a job, they will do to the end, whoever is the leader. We don't care who is the leader, who is sitting on the chair. We respect the chair, right? And we know we have to do for the chair, whatever work. So I think it's personal. One is transactional leadership, one is transformational leadership. You might have heard. I think the empathy works a lot in a team. Yeah, each of my team where I worked, we became so close, and we knew exactly where our weaknesses are there, where our strengths are there, and how to cooperate with each other. It's not utopian again. We'll have problems. And I have seen personally, when I have a problem with a particular contributor, there is something underlying. We have to reach out to that, because if somebody joins ISRO, he's not some altu-faltu. He's a capable person who is there. Why is he not contributing? There will be underlying thing. If you have that empathy to understand what it is and provide that support, you will get the best. I don't say 100%. Probably people give 50, 60 to their capacity, to the expected 100%. Some may give 150%, but they have to give their best.
We've heard from our advisors and everyone, we try to follow the best of ISRO culture to grow our organization, take the best of the practices. So what I've been hearing all the time is that the review committee and the way ISRO does review is something which nobody does. So how is your experience?
Yeah, that is our strength, review. And at least till we were there, I don't know, a lot of changes might have happened. It was open to all. Whether if you're an expert, even if you're a technical assistant there, you have the same respect as anybody else. Vividly, I remember one example. I'm sure Dr. Nagendra knows about it. We had an issue in TES, one of the digital system, and when we put it to vibration, it's always breaking away. Okay, and it's not working. Many technologies nobody gives you on a platter. You have to learn by yourself. And 3-4 times costly chips we are wasting. It's failing. What to do? And it was from our fabrication. And that gentleman, quietly he did some experiment. Inside his lab, he came, Gopal, and he came and gave the solution. It was he who brought it out. He is equally respected. I mean, if he thinks that, oh, I'm from fabrication, I shouldn't speak in a big firm. No. You know, the kind of self-respect he had and the kind of respect others gave him to, you know, because he was good at what he did. That was the review system. The first communication satellite was made by a private company in US, not by government, right? So that was their culture. That's the way, if we are comparing that way. But in India, even making telephone instruments or making television were part of public sectors those days. I mean, our culture was different. That's the way we have started with, right? And now India has changed. It is not required. I mean, the kind of environment we had was like that. I mean, today we can blame 101 things, why government is doing, why government is doing that. But just imagine, none of us were born just immediately after independence. What was our economic situation? What was our literacy? It was less than 20%. And, you know, taking the nation forward, you needed that kind of setup. We had it, right? And what a transformation it has happened today. And the economy or literacy or health, education, technology, we're number 2 in mobile users, internet users, etc. So that kind of transformation phase needed the kind of setup. Today we don't need that. For everything we should not compare. Elon Musk has done, we are not done. We don't have Elon Musk. I mean, we have Rohan.
No. I'm no Musk.
I mean, the kind of deep pocket he had and he could do it, you know, everybody cannot do that. So we always compare that. No comparison. The moment you compare, you are at a problem. And India's space program came up because we did not compare ourselves. We had our own goals and we did that, right? I feel the private companies also should not have those dreams that I'm going to become like that, like this. No, you have a clear-cut goal what you want to do and run your own race. Don't run the race with Elon Musk or somebody. It doesn't work. Right?
Well put.
Yeah, that's the way. And it will open up in India what is best suited for this country. I go to many schools and colleges to bring in the knowledge of what is going on in the country, in technology, in space. And everybody asks the same thing, how do I join ISRO? I tell them the same thing. Don't worry, if not ISRO, you can join so many companies today and you will be doing the same kind of work. And, you know, that's the way it is. Everybody need not have to join. They need mentors and expose their minds. And today, so much information is available. Know that there is life beyond, you know, your family or your culture. There's something beyond. You can achieve. If you want, you can achieve. You don't have to buckle down to anybody's pressure. Do what you want. That's it. GSAT-10 was the biggest satellite we had done at that point of time. Yeah. Now, after that, we have done many bigger satellites. We have done GSAT-11, which was like 6K and all that. And there were a lot of challenges in making that satellite. And, you know, especially having stayed there for 1 month, oh, the launch is over, we can go home, was also there. Right? So it was a wonderful thing. And because being in India, I mean, I was just joking, being in India when we go for a lunch, you have all your seniors, mentors with you. When you are there as a team leader, kind of suddenly you realize that everything is on you, right? And there's nobody you can look at, and if you have to talk to somebody, you have to wait for the night to become the day here, and instantaneous decisions, you cannot be waiting from anyone, you have to do that. And one was managing the team, there were things and technical things, and for us in ISRO, working 24 hours is not a challenge at all. There we had to complete activities within the stipulated time, and if you haven't informed that I'm going to work beyond 8 o'clock, is a big problem. You have to take special permission, security permission. That we had to really work hard. That in fact sometimes we would just overbook, telling that we want 24 hours, because you can get into problem anytime and we need the time. A lot of tension, and if you're overbooked also, there will be very critical remarks. Why are you making this happen? Things like that. And so many issues. I think when we were doing the final rotation of the satellite, was that in GSAT-10, we heard a small sound. So much tension, what we are going to do about it, right? And some small sound, from where it is coming, what has got loosened, and the sound had to be analyzed, what it is. And we have a small team there, and we are trying to work out and what to do, should we go ahead or not. And the moment you stop, the repercussions are very heavy, because it's a different country and different interpretations can go. Here we can openly talk anything. There you have to be very careful how you put anything. All this were a big stress trying to finish the project and then come back. And finally we found that it was nothing, and we could give a go. In ISRO, nobody cares whether you're a man or a woman. Nobody cares, really.
No, that's good to know. In fact, outside world we don't know.
No, they don't give you any concession because you're a girl or nothing like that. See, I mean, if men are doing 24 hours, you have no grounds to say, as a woman, I will not work. That we have never done. Challenge was like this. Electric propulsion thoughts were there in GSAT-4 itself. We wanted to put in GSAT-4, and actually some 14 billion Newton thrusters were all, and it was supposed to fly. Unfortunately, we lost the satellite. But we'll be working in background for many new technologies and waiting for a platform. When the platform opportunity comes, we have to put the new technologies. GSAT-9 satellite, I always say, is a typical example of change management. Okay, the amount of changes in its goal changed so much in its lifetime. Then we were supposed to have a navigation payload also on that. We dropped it, and because so many constraints, and we had to put on GSLV at that time, we had to control the mass, etc. So the navigation went to some other satellite, and we remained with 12 Ku band transponders in GSAT-9. And when we were building that, another big blow came, I mean, for us who were making satellite, but it's good for the nation, that this satellite should be dedicated as SARC-SAT. I was just talking about that with Sridhar in the car today. It has to be made SARC-SAT. So the moment you make SARC-SAT, you as satellite people, you understand, it's not just that you can define the name. The beams have to fall over those countries. All the time we have worked so that the beam is only over India and Andaman Nicobar. So it should not spill over on the other places. You should not, right? So, but now you have to spill it over. Means what? Your antenna changes, antenna design changes, and when the antenna design changes, the mechanisms change, the structural interfaces change. It's a big change on the satellite. So we had to make those changes for the satellite, and when we were working out, this suggestion came that why don't we put electric propulsion, because it's not going to be for the commercial use. Okay, and this is the best platform where you can push all new things and try it out. Okay. So it was more of a political satellite now because you have to give it to the other countries. So when we wanted to try that, electric propulsion came when satellite was almost getting ready. Integration was over, all the designs are frozen. At that point of time we had to push in, and a lot of decisions to be made. We had one team from controls making thruster and one team pushing from LPSC that they have the thruster, and we had to drive it with, you are aware, the power supply requirements are very, very special for these things. And when we had to do that, there is power system from URSC who is offering their design. I will do it. I had done it for GSAT-4. I know it would not have worked, but I'll make it work now. See, as a person, the challenges are different. As a team, challenges are different. Every project had, as a team, lot of challenges we had. The first satellite I made was the first communication satellite in a 1000 kg class of satellite. Was a challenge because all our packaging, everything, what we had done was for bigger satellites and how to scale it down. And we planned something, and unfortunately a series of generic problem happened in DC-DC converters. The entire design we had to change and go back to the conventional systems and how to reduce the weight. And small satellite dynamics were different, placing with the same kind of momentum wheels and thrusters and all that. Those things have to be tackled. And the second satellite was, the biggest at that point of time, handling that. And first time we put a dual gridded reflector in the DGR. So that was something new, how to test it. And every project had something new. And GSAT-17 when we came, I think it had the biggest antenna so far we had made, 2.6 meter by 2.4 meter antenna we had to attach to the satellite, and it was a big deal how we are going to mechanism, especially the deployment mechanism, how to that holding and then releasing that mechanism, how we had to do, and additional supports where to provide. Everything is a challenge, including non-technical. GSAT-11, we had put it in the launch pad. I was program director at that time, and we had GSAT-6A loss, and it was all boiled down to a possible short circuit due to something, whatever. And we had to make sure that this satellite withstands that. Bringing it back from launch pad in South America, such a huge satellite, the risks involved was great. Next day is you will see charged particles everywhere. Highly charged particles. You might have seen when we had the failure of Chandrayaan-2 lander, when we did not land. Not next day, that night, that moment onwards, there was a laboratory set up immediately there, and the committees discussing, putting actions, and they will work out on that, and a lot of software being run and inputs being given. The whole analysis, it went on for almost a week, round the clock it went on. And when there is a failure, no going home. If there is a success, you can go home, have a sip of coffee, right? So we also had similar situations when one of our satellites, GSAT-6A, during orbit raising, suddenly we lost the satellite, and all we had was some 30 seconds of data. And bit by bit it was shredded and tried to read, understand. It's a huge amount of work when there is this one. ISRO is not new to failures, and every failure we have never left without understanding what happens. So that means a huge hard work. Because we are like phoenix, and whenever we are burned down into ashes, you will see again ISRO soaring high. Tell you frankly, you don't survive if you don't continue with STEM today. See, whether you're a farmer or a space scientist or businessman, do whatever. Today STEM is essential. Just we were talking, every branch is translating into STEM today. If you don't want to be left out as a generation, STEM is essential. It's not a choice today. STEM has to be part and parcel of it. Whatever you do, it is like you have to know the language, right? It's like that. So you must have some skills in STEM, otherwise we cannot survive. It's a question of survival, not a choice. Yourself?
Yeah, to your younger self.
I'll tell, well done, keep doing same thing, whatever you're doing.
That's good.
See,
Ma'am-
it all comes from owning up.
Correct.
That's all. Maybe I could have done something better and all that. But owning up what decisions we made and making the best of it. I made the best of every decision I have made. That's all.
Thank you for spending
Thank
your
you so
valuable
much.
time with us, ma'am.
Thank you so much. It was my joy.